And we're back with another movie review. This time it is for the latest horror film based off the 1970s short story by the legendary Stephen King, The Boogeyman. The Boogeyman, I feel like we've seen this kind of movie before. I feel like there's like 500 sequels that of a franchise that nobody really liked. And I'm not gonna lie that when I saw the trailers to this film, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be good. It looks kind of interesting. I'm all in for creature feature films. That's kind of my favorite subgenre of horror films. And like I said, there's been like over 1 million adaptations of The Boogeyman at this point. And I was very, very hesitant. But I told myself it's based off of a Stephen King book. Stephen King's pretty good. I did notice that they're adapting a short story of his, just like they adapted his son's short story in The Black Phone. So, seeing a pattern here. And the director, Rob Savage, has directed some pretty interesting horror films in the last couple of years. Host and Dashcam, while I haven't seen those films, people that I trust in the horror community said that those were actually pretty interesting, pretty good. And he also directed one of my guilty pleasure films back in 2017 with Angelina Jolie called Salt, and I'm still waiting for the sequel for that film. So with all that, I went into the theater, sat down and watched the film, and I came out terrified. Almost peed my pants. This movie's freaking scary. The main attraction or aspect of this film is the way that they set the atmosphere. This movie's very dark, and it's purposely like that because, we got the Boogeyman, so he has to be staying in the dark at all times. The movie has a very claustrophobic kind of feel, and it's purpose, right? Because we have a boogeyman that has to stay in the shadows at all time. He's lurking in the shadows, and all you can see is his beady eyes. And that thing scared the crap out of me every time they did it. But with the atmosphere that they are building, it also feeds into the characters and how they're dealing with what they're dealing with. In this movie, they're dealing with the loss of their mother, a family member, and it's just this family dealing with that in their own way. And the most common thread between them, there's sadness, there's fear, anger, frustration, all that stuff is building up. And that is what is feeding the Boogeyman. That is one of the aspects that they say that is like the reason why he is here. And we'll go into, a little bit more of the Boogeyman and his backstory, or lack thereof, as we're going on in this review. But I did think that was really cool that that's one of the things that, he's feeding off of. It's not really original. We've seen kind of monsters and demons and ghosts and stuff, entities that in movies that do that kind of thing. They feed off the fear, they feed off the anger and the sadness of the people in the house. But I did like that aspect because, it's the Boogeyman. What else is he going to be there for? But the whole time, it's a pretty dark film. Like, it's some points I was just like, I can't see. I'm trying to squint my eyes, I can't really even see. But I think it's on purpose. It has to be on purpose because it's the way that the film is. But I just thought it was kind of funny because at points I was like, you guys just need to get some brighter lights. The other lights ain't working for you. I feel like for these kind of films, you've got to have a strong character like lineup. Of course, you got to get the final girl or girls in this case, and you got to have the side characters to help out the main characters, right? So for this film, I think this is one of the lacking points of it. The two sisters in the film are probably the best. The younger sister in particular, I think, is like the best one, the best character in here. But the two sisters is mainly surrounding them in the way that they are dealing with the loss of their mother. And I did like the portrayals that we got. But like I was saying, you need strong supporting characters as well in these type of creature feature films to support the main character. And in this one, okay, those supporting characters not really working. The father in here is probably the worst thing that I've seen in a while in terms of a dad in a movie. Yikes. That really annoyed me. And I also think the reason why these characters aren't really up to their full potential is because we're kind of dropped in the middle of their story. We don't really see what happened before their mother passed away. So we're kind of stuck in this middle ground and trying to pick up the pieces. But as far as the Boogeyman goes, I really like the design that they they had incorporated in this version of the Boogeyman. He looks freaking terrifying. And one thing that I hate in films is when they have a demonic creature or monster, alien or whatever, that mimics human voices. You know, they try to mimic somebody else that they know, that their prey knows or something like that. And the Boogeyman does it in this one. And the sound that's coming out of this monster's mouth is terrifying, to say the least. I was very scared. So if you're asking, if you're wondering if this movie was scary, to me, it was, because there's a lot of jump scares in this movie. So if you don't like jump scares, I don't know why you're watching horror movies, but if you don't like jump scares, there's plenty in this film. And I think there were well thought out jump scares. There were not like just cheesy jump scares just to be jump scares. There's a lot of like fake outs, which I enjoy. As far as the negatives or the things that I think that need a little bit improvement on, we talked about a little bit about the character development and the characters not being really fully fleshed out. But I also feel like the story, and particularly the story of the Boogeyman, wasn't really told to its fullest. Like, we kind of get the Boogeyman thrown at us, and we're just, as an audience, expected to be like, okay, he's the Boogeyman, he's there. Of course he is. But I know, I couldn't help. While I enjoyed everything, you know, I liked it, it was fun, it was a very entertaining movie, I was just thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, you know, I wish we knew a little bit more about the Boogeyman, like his origin story. We get a little tiny drop of that while characters are talking to other characters that have experienced the Boogeyman, but we don't get that full fleshed out or just even more fleshed out story of the Boogeyman, his origins, where he's from, why he's here. Like I said, we get a little bit of it, but just not enough for me personally. Overall, guys, I thought that the Boogeyman was pretty scary. If you couldn't tell already, my thoughts. I almost ran out of theater. I think that the monster design is cool. I did like the cinematography, the atmosphere that this movie's given, even though at some points I couldn't really even see what was going on, but I think that's the point with this movie called The Boogeyman, with the monster that hides in the shadow. But as always, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you like this movie? Are you planning on going and seeing The Boogeyman? Did you even know that this was a Stephen King short story? Because I didn't know in the beginning, and then I found out and I was like, okay, I'll check it out because it's Stephen King, the OG. But let me know in the comments down below, guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We're almost to 2,000 subscribers. That's amazing. I can't thank you guys enough. I'm excited to continue the journey. But as always, guys, keep watching movies.